Hello, I'm Senator Ed Markey, and it is a pleasure to join fellow peace activists to discuss how to build healthy communities and to end our unhealthy addiction to lethal weapons of war. Last year, Senator Bernie Sanders and I authored an amendment to the defense bill known as the National Defense Authorization Act. Our proposal was simple: cut 10% off the top of the Pentagon's $740 billion budget and redirect savings to programs that strengthen vulnerable, low-income communities. National security does not depend on our inventory of planes, missiles, and warheads. All the hardware in the world couldn't protect against the COVID-19 crisis, which devastated the United States and countries around the world as much as a conventional security threat. If weaponry alone was an accurate metric of American security, then we would be without rival, as our military budget is larger than the next 10 countries combined. Our battle fleet is larger than the next 13 navies combined, with 11 of those 13 represented by our allies or our partners. Bernie and I said that we must define national security to mean investments that improve and save lives, not investments in new weapon systems designed to end them. And that's because to the tens of millions of Americans who cannot afford their health insurance premiums, a new aircraft carrier does nothing to improve their health security. And to the tens of millions facing eviction, investments in new and unproven new missile defense interceptors will not lead to housing security in the form of affordable rent. The greatest national security threat we faced since World War II did not come in the form of Navy, Army, or a terrorist group. It came in the form of an invisible virus that escaped our defenses. Despite our fight on the floor of the Senate, President Trump got his Pentagon budget request. Then Vice President Biden once said, "Don't tell me what you value, show me your budget, and I will tell you what you value." If we do not trim the fat off the defense budget, which has returned $128 billion unspent funds since 2009, we risk showing leading researchers at the National Institutes for Health that we value a race in nuclear arms over their race to find a cure for Alzheimer's or cancer. Last month, the Congressional Budget Office revised its projections on nuclear weapons costs over the next 10 years. It confirmed what we already know. Spending a whopping $634 billion over 10 years on gold-plated nuclear weapons programs risk repeating the same mistakes of the Cold War. And that is the literal definition of insanity. Representative Blumenauer and I just reintroduced our Sane Act. It begins to rein in runaway spending by identifying at least $73 billion in smart cuts to weapons programs over the next 10 years. There is no greater example of waste in the nuclear weapons budget than the proposed new ground-based strategic deterrent, a multi-generational commitment to a new intercontinental ballistic missile based on the fallacy that an enemy will only feel deterred if we have the capability to end the world many, many times over. To defend the new money pit missile, defense contractors have mobilized their army of lobbyists on Capitol Hill. They claim that going forward on a $250 billion weapon system will create jobs. We know, however, that the same amount spent on the GBSD would create 40% more jobs if spent in the energy and infrastructure sectors, and 100% more jobs if it was spent in the healthcare sector. My bill that I've introduced with Representative Ro Khanna, Investing in Cures Before Missiles, or ICBM, says that we would be better to invest in a vaccine of mass prevention for coronaviruses before a new weapon of mass destruction. Defense contractors have a lot to lose, but Americans and others around the world who could be victims of an accidental nuclear war caused by hair trigger weapons have far more to lose. We can win this fight, but I need your help to take the case to communities, particularly in Montana and Wyoming and North Dakota, and who host US ICBMs in their backyards. We have to ask if they would wish to remain in the crosshairs of Russian nukes in perpetuity, or would they support investments in their communities that build jobs of the future rather than missiles of the past. Recent polling suggests that that's what they would want to do. Regardless of what we do in Congress, President Biden can act by ending our posture of launching under attack. Such a posture creates an incentive to use it or lose it. Our ICBM fleet forcing the president to make a snap decision based on what may prove to be false warning. We cannot continue to play Russian roulette with weapons of annihilation. There's no greater cause than the security of our people. We may be outgunned in lobbyist dollars, but we are not in our commitment. I thank all of the peace action activists in Massachusetts and throughout the country for all of your work, day in and day out. Together, we can make the case that scrapping the money pit missile will benefit the health of our economy, our people, and our national security. We are the moral, political, economic, and military leader of the world, and we have to exercise that authority to avoid what could be a catastrophic event for our planet. Thank you all so much at Mass Peace Action for everything you are doing to make that the vision of what our peaceful future should look like. Thank you so much.